Hey guys, Hudson here. It's such a fun time to be involved in photo and video stuff right now, and I want to talk a little bit about LED panel lights and how they can help you either in your videography or photography, and why you should consider them, because the technology has just been changing so quickly and getting so much better that these kits are getting more affordable, they're working better, they're more versatile, they're lighter weight, they're more energy efficient, and they're higher quality. It's really a fun time to be checking out panel lights, and I'll talk a little bit about why they're great, why you might want to consider them, and a couple of models that I've been playing with and where to get them and how to get them. So I'm going to talk about these Genaray lights right behind me right now. This is the Genaray Escort 3-light interview kit. Just like any other panel light, they tend to come in two different versions. They come in a daylight version and they come in a bicolor version. And I know a lot of people are drawn to the bicolor because, you know, the marketing material says you can go all the way from tungsten warm color temperature balance to a cool temperature to match whether you're in daylight or you're in artificial light. And that's true, but a lot of times when you buy the bicolor lights, the way that they work that is they have a certain number of the LEDs that are warm, yellow, and a certain number that are cool, blue, and as you turn it to daylight, it turns those blue lights up and the warm lights down and vice versa. And so what you wind up having is kind of half power when you go all the way to tungsten and half power when you go all the way to daylight, and only full power with your light when you have it in the middle. So I prefer to get daylight ones and use some warming filters. You can get a little colored gel to put in front of the light really easily at any store. So I'm going to advocate getting the daylight balanced light kit. What I've got right here is this Genaray Escort kit. It's 3 lights. One is a 25-degree spot to put on your subject, and the other 2 are 75-degree floods, which you can kind of use to fill shadows. And I think one of the great things about using panel lights is that you don't have to kind of figure it out by guesswork, take a shot like a strobe and see what the effect is. Oh, there's way too much light here, there's not enough light there. It's a nice way to kind of get into lighting people, subjects, whatever it is that you're doing, where what you see is what you get. You just put the lights where you want them until it looks good, and you can use whatever tutorials or books you want to use to figure out where the lights should be and how to modify them. But having it continuous really helps you kind of get the knack of where to put the lights to look best. There's situations certainly for the still photographer where a strobe is highly beneficial when you want to freeze action because the strobe flashes so quickly, or when strobes put out a lot of power generally. So if you're in a really bright condition and you want to light your subject even more brightly, a strobe could be the way to go. But in a lot of situations, continuous light sources like this are going to work great. And if you're doing anything with video, they're just essential. The strobe's going to do nothing for you. So one thing that's nice about this little Genaray kit, it's got built-in barn doors. It's also it comes with these warming filters. So nice hard plastic, well-made ones that will just give you that tungsten look just by slipping them in front of the light. It also comes with these little diffusers to kind of soften the light and protect the LEDs so they're not exposed to the elements, so you can switch it out between clear daylight and a little bit warm tungsten. So that's kind of takes care of the need for bicolor versus daylight right there. Definitely go the daylight. I like the fact that there's a remote control for these, so you can set each of these lights up on a different channel, and you can adjust the intensity, turn them on and off with this remote control and switch channels to control all 3 lights. I find that the on-off switch is just a tiny bit clunky with this Wi-Fi remote. Sometimes you have to hit it a couple times for it to activate like that. But it does work, and it's nice to have wireless control. A lot of these lights, including these, will run on either V-mount batteries or these really ubiquitous MPF Sony style batteries that are kind of all the rage in video accessories right now. And lighting. They're relatively affordable. One thing that's cool about this kit is it comes with 3 of these dual chargers and 6 of these batteries, and you can mount 2 of them to each of these lights and run them for about 2 hours at full power. They don't weigh a heck of a lot. So if I go ahead, pull this off the light stand, it's not terribly heavy even with the batteries mounted on it. It's got a little controller in the back that it's kind of like a touch screen on a phone or on a tablet. You just put your finger up against it and it'll change the power output just by holding your finger against it. It also, you can change the channel, and it has controls for color temperature on these, even though they're locked in at daylight temperature because it only has one color of LED built in. That and these little mounts for putting the batteries in. It's a really pretty simple system. You fold it up, it's lightweight. Really, I haven't weighed them, but they don't weigh much at all. They're a little light and plasticky, but the fact that this kit is, less than $550 for 2 floods, a spotlight, 6 batteries, chargers that work with wall plugs or in your vehicle mount, nice, hard warming filters. It's a pretty crazy kit. It doesn't come with the light stands, but I'll put links to this kit as well as to these Dracast lights I'm about to talk about on this video, as well as some little light stands. These light stands you can get for maybe $20 or so each. Not a huge expense. It's a pretty crazy deal. I mean, to get into the realm of good quality continuous lighting, ready to go out in the field with no access to power, not having a generator with you, that's pretty crazy. That's something that, it would have been film studio equipment that cost thousands of dollars not very long ago. One thing when you're doing film work with these things is the flicker, particularly at higher frame rates. Sometimes poor quality lights, you'll start to see flicker and little lines running through the light, particularly at higher frame rates, which require higher shutter speeds. So I did a little bit of testing with these, and I found that there was a little bit of flicker up above a 1/1500th of a second shutter speed using my D850, my Nikon D850. That means it's acceptable to use up to 750 frames a second. And considering that we watch most of our video at 24 frames a second or 30 frames a second, that would be some insanely fast or some insanely slow motion. So really, really good, high quality light. Now, that said, I've been for a while using these Dracast lights, which don't come with all the bells and whistles, not as many accessories. There's no Wi-Fi remote control. They don't come with batteries or chargers. They're on sale at B&H for a similar price for 3 of them. They're kind of in the middle. They're not necessarily a spot or a flood. They're like a 45-degree kind of middle of the road beam range, but they're extremely well built. They just feel really high quality. They come with a little diffuser. When you want to turn them on, you've got a nice tactile dial instead of having the little touch button, and they just feel really well made, nice metal. Everything feels structurally sturdy about them. And when I tested them all the way up to 8,000th of a second, there was almost no visible flicker. So a really, really, really high quality light. Maybe just a touch heavier, not much. So this kit comes just with stands and the light. No batteries, no chargers, no Wi-Fi remote, no filters. You're gonna have to buy your own little gels, cut them and tape them to the barn doors. But if I had to bet on the longevity of the 2 lights, I guess I'm using these in 10 years. These maybe, I don't know. I mean, there's a little feel of a plasticiness about them. So I'm going to put links to both of them. I've been using these quite a bit in the studio doing tutorials. For the last month, I've had 0 problems. I'm about to take them on a road trip with me to Death Valley doing a photography workshop at the end of this month. So we'll see how they fare on the road. But I think they're both a great deal. And I think that for anybody interested in getting into lighting, these LED kits are just a great deal. I mean, you can buy this entire kit for what one, of the top strobes for my Nikon, the speed lights cost. And that's crazy. You get 3 really high quality continuous lights. So if you got any questions, hit me up in the comments, send me an email. I'm always happy to talk this stuff. If you catch this video a while after I did it, see how these Genarays are doing down the road. I'll put links to them. Hope you enjoyed.